What happens when you agree to help a stranger for one afternoon? A man named Curtis found me on a gig app and offered me $200 to sit in a diner and film his handoff with his business partner, Wade. He said he needed a witness with a camera because Wade had been skimming money from their contracting company and had threatened him twice. He was terrified to do it alone. Curtis told me Wade had never actually hit him, but he'd smashed a laptop against a wall during an argument, keyed a supplier's truck, and once shown up at Curtis's house at midnight just to stand in the driveway. Curtis had been trying to dissolve the partnership for months, but every time he brought it up, Wade would rage until Curtis backed off. He picked this diner because it was public enough that Wade would keep it together, but small enough that I could see everything from a booth. All I had to do was eat a burger, keep my phone propped up recording, and call for help if Wade got physical. Curtis said Wade had cut him off from everyone they used to know, so there was nobody else to ask. He promised Wade would show at 1, and it'd be done by 1:30. I needed the money and figured nothing serious could happen in a diner full of people. Wade came in 10 minutes late. He was a big man, thick through the shoulders, with a stillness that felt worse than movement. He clapped Curtis on the back too hard, and Curtis flinched. First bad sign. I set my phone against the napkin holder and pretended to scroll. Curtis started talking in this careful, rehearsed way, and I watched Wade's face over the top of my menu. At first, Wade grinned like it was a joke. When Curtis kept going, buyout, separate accounts, lawyers, the grin locked up and died. He reached across and closed his hand over Curtis's forearm. Not hard enough to bruise, but Curtis went pale. "You're not doing this," Wade said, loud enough that a waitress glanced over. Curtis pulled his arm back and kept talking, and Wade's jaw started working side to side. The waitress came and Wade ordered for both of them, cheerful, like nothing was happening. That fake friendliness made my skin crawl worse than yelling would have. His knuckles were white on the table edge. The second she left, he leaned in fast and low. I caught fragments. Everything I built. You'd be nothing without me. You think you just walk? His hand swept out and knocked over the sugar caddy, then his coffee. A busboy hurried over, and Wade thanked him warmly, then dropped right back into that hissing whisper. The switching scared me more than steady anger would have. Curtis tried to stand. Wade caught his wrist and pulled him back into the booth, still smiling like they were reminiscing. My phone was in my hand now, 911 typed and ready, thumb hovering. Part of me wanted to bolt, but Curtis had said wait unless it turns violent, and watching him trapped there, reaching for the door with his eyes, made me feel like a coward for sitting still. Wade was getting louder. "Who put you up to this? Somebody put you up to this." Over and over. Curtis kept saying nobody, it was just him. Then Wade stood up so suddenly his chair cracked against the tile. The whole diner jumped. He laughed, picked it up, apologized to the room like a charming host, and sat back down and took both of Curtis's hands across the table. It could have looked tender. I could see Curtis straining to get free. The manager started over. Wade clocked him instantly and threw his palms up. "Sorry folks, just an intense talk with my buddy here." The manager slowed, unsure. That's when Curtis said it clearly. "We're not partners anymore, Wade." Wade's face went blank, like a switch flipped off behind his eyes. He slid out of the booth, slow this time, and walked around to Curtis's side, leaning down with a hand on the seat back, boxing him in. I shifted to stand. This was the moment, and Wade felt it. His head came up and he looked straight at me. Not a glance. A long, deliberate look, like he was filing my face away somewhere. "You need something?" he asked, dead calm. "No," I said, "just stretching." I sat back down. He kept staring. Then he looked at Curtis, back at me, and I watched it land in his eyes. He crossed to my booth, both hands open at his sides, which somehow made it worse. He pulled out the chair across from me and sat like we were old friends grabbing lunch. "You're with him, aren't you?" he said softly, leaning in. "He hired you to watch me." His palms were flat on the table between us, and I could see them shaking with the effort of staying still. Behind him, Curtis was shaking his head at me, wide-eyed, mouthing one word, "Go."